Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the ARP website are your one-stop knowledge and resource base for autism and much more. I'm happy to have Valery Goldes join me as my guest today. Valery is a recording artist, pianist, singer-songwriter, composer, and a producer who grew up in Israel. A child prodigy in classical piano, he has played with orchestras across Europe and Israel, including under the baton of Zubin Mehta with the Israel Philharmonic when he was only 13. As a piano coach, Valery's passion has always been to share his music knowledge and experience with his students. He believes in being not only an instructor, but a mentor to each of his students, many of whom are neurodiverse. Welcome, Valery. And thank you so much for taking time to join me today and discuss the work that you do.
Of course, thank you so much, Gilda, for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's such an honor to be on your podcast of Autism Resource Project. And yes, thank you so much.
I really appreciate you being here. To begin with, please share with me a bit about your background and how your company Arabesque was founded.
Sure, absolutely. I'm a classically trained piano player. As a kid, I pretty much had no life. I practiced like 6 to 7 hours a day, toured the world with concerts and competitions. Didn't even finish high school because I went to study in Germany and completed my bachelor at a very young age. And then I went to New York because I always wanted to pursue the American dream, watched a lot of movies and shows, and I thought, I want to be in Hollywood. And one of the ways to do that was to go to Juilliard because this is what I knew how to do because I was a piano player. And when I was accepted to Juilliard, I got a full scholarship. And one of my professors, she's also an Israeli, Yocheved Kaplinsky. And I was really inspired by the country, the culture, and I really wanted to stay here. So I decided to become a singer-songwriter, to start writing songs in English and trying to pursue my career as a recording artist. And to do that, I had to move to LA because this was the place where everybody was getting famous, and I always dreamed of being in Beverly Hills, and driving fast cars, and all that stuff. I moved to LA and I started recording as a recording artist. Life was a little bit tough because a lot of musicians are always struggle, and I was one of them. I had to make some money on the side and to try to see how can I survive in Los Angeles. It was never cheap, right? Coming from a family of immigrants, and we started with nothing. We had to find our way and build our own life, and there was nobody reaching their hands to help us. I started teaching piano, and because I knew music, I loved music and I loved kids. So I decided I'm going to start teaching piano to kids and see how it goes, and they became a huge passion of mine. I started with printing out like 300, 400 flyers and going to Beverly Hills door to door, offering them get the first lesson for free. And little by little, I started building my reputation as a piano teacher. And I just fell in love with teaching, especially seeing kids who never played. And suddenly, after a few months or a year, they were playing recitals. Everybody was wearing ties. Everybody was so cute. So that was a big thing for me. And I do believe that one of the biggest thing you can do as a musician is to share your music with people. Now, a few years later, I started to do some music enrichment programs with charter schools, LAUSD schools, and I met my best friend, who's like a brother to me. His name is Gervais Maillard, and he's also my business partner. And that's how we founded Arabesque Conservatory of Music together. We started as just a music school. We didn't know how it was going to happen because a lot of music schools, they do struggle a lot. And we thought we were just going to give it a shot and see what happens. The biggest inspiration for the company, which we didn't know about until later, is when I started teaching a lot of kids who had autism, Down syndrome. And I realized that these kids, when they learn and they go on stage, they play better than anybody else. I remember families being in tears saying how this has changed their lives because when they play on stage, nothing else matters. They seem so at peace and they're so exceptionally talented. And one of the biggest reason and one of the biggest mission behind Arabesque is to serve the kids who are neurodivergent and making sure the music is accessible to everybody. So it's all inclusive. We accept everybody, and this has become the greatest mission of my life, or of our lives, me and my business partners.
That's just wonderful. And it's really great to hear. Tell me bit about the different services that you offer aside from piano lessons, which we know you do, but talk to me about some of the other services as well.
Absolutely. So we offer every instrument that is out there because a lot of our teachers, most of them are multi-instrumentalists who play over 30 instruments. So we offer piano, we offer guitar, voice, violin, drums, trumpet. We also offer music appreciation, especially for kids who are like 3 years old or not sure which instrument they want to pursue. Usually we start them with music appreciation just to introduce them to music, and then we can create a customized curriculum for them where they can choose the path of multiple instrument or let's say just piano. Since piano, I would say the most popular instrument because everybody wants to play the piano. And I do believe if you know how to play the piano, it's going to be much easier to learn additional instruments. And we also offer music therapy. All of our music therapists are board certified. So we offer music lessons, which we can do in-home lessons so the teacher can travel to the home of the client, wherever they are in California or beyond. The same thing goes, we also do online lessons and we offer lessons at our location in Los Angeles. The same goes for music therapy. We can do music therapy in home, online, or at our location.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the approach that you take with your students who are autistic or neurodivergent. Is the approach different than the approach that you take, say, with a neurotypical student? How does that work?
The way we work is that each curriculum is customized to each student, right? So the first session would always serve as an assessment where the teacher, and this is for music lesson, I'll talk about music therapy in a second. So the first lesson is always an assessment to see what are the challenges, what path we should take for that specific client, and then we would customize the curriculum according to their needs and abilities. We do offer classical music, pop, contemporary. We also use the Suzuki method. So a lot of our kids who have autism, they're amazing at ear training. They all like have perfect pitch. They can hear so well. So we always implement ear training and focusing on the auditorial part of learning, since a lot of kids can learn by ear. Those who are more visual, we would always implement reading music, which I do believe that reading music is always very important. But the beautiful thing about what we do is we don't have a set curriculum for everybody. This is how it is, and this is how everybody's going to learn. We always need to learn more about the child. For instance, if the child is nonverbal, so we will always send a teacher who has experience teaching kids who are nonverbal. If a kid is non-ambulatory, they cannot use their hands, we would always bring a teacher who specializes in that. Because even if you still cannot use your hands, there are certain ways that you can teach somebody to still play the guitar, which was really cool. And I didn't know about it until we had such a wonderful team of instructors who really changed the lives of a lot of individuals. And we would always have families call us up saying, thank you, this was unbelievable. So it really warms my heart just to know that we can be here to serve the individuals who need services. And I'm surprised how a lot of music schools out there do not offer services and not inclusive. So the biggest thing for us, we're always inclusive. So if people ask me, do you serve this kind of a disability? We do, because if we don't have a teacher, we'll find a teacher who serves that special need. And I do believe that each kid should have access to music education.
That's amazing. Do you teach adults as well? Let's say an autistic adult or a disabled adult?
We do. We do. We work with kids and adults, all ages, all levels. A lot of our teachers or therapists also provided lessons at a hospital, and we can always do different accommodations. And in terms of music therapy, since music therapy is a little bit of a different service, and a lot of families are asking, what is the difference between music lessons and music therapy? Music therapy is a documented practice. It's more like clinical, right? Essentially, these are not students, these are your patients. And essentially, what music therapy does, it helps develop cognitive abilities using music to be able to communicate. A lot of kids who, for instance, have anxiety, music therapy is very important for them. Or somebody who has problems with social skills or cognitive skills, we use different musical frequencies to be able to help these individuals. And of course, it's a documented practice, which we provide monthly reports and goals for specific individuals.
Okay, the big question then, how do students pay for your services? Very often, a lot of families who have neurodivergent kids or disabled kids are very financially challenged. Do you offer scholarships? How do you handle that with the families that come to you?
So we work something that has been really big for us is regional centers in California. We are vendors with a lot of regional centers all across California, and this is basically state-funded programs that allow individuals with developmental challenges to take our services. And since we're vendors, everybody has accessibility to our services, whether it's in San Francisco, whether it's in Burbank, since we have teachers and therapists all across California that are able to fill that need. And there's a big program which is called the SDP, Self-Determination Program. It's just for people out there who don't know, because we do encounter, and that's another thing, a lot of families who have kids with autism never heard about regional center system. So we also help them, we connect them with independent facilitators that introduce them to the regional center program so they can get state funding for inclusive activities such as music, sports, and this is a very big for us. So if family is always asking for services, we are always there to help them out. And we have phenomenal resources, and we can connect people with other people so we can serve these individuals with development challenges. And we also offer instruments. So if the family has an issue purchasing an instrument, we offer financial aid, because we do believe that if a child needs an instrument and they're financially challenged, we're not going to tell the family no. We will always provide that instrument, again, because we're making it so accessible. And I do believe that everybody has to have access to music education.
Okay, now you mentioned the system within California, but you also mentioned that you do work both in person and online. So I would imagine that you do serve individuals outside the state of California as well.
We serve everybody pretty much everywhere. Of course, in person is always better. If you are working with child with special needs, we always recommend you definitely have to do in person. Online, it's never going to be the same experience, but we do offer that services. And if somebody reaches out from a different state, I'm sure other states also have different state funding. So we always accept it. And if we never heard about that program, we have a wonderful team that's going to research it and making sure that we can accept that program, because again, we want to be able to serve everybody.
We come to the point now where one of my favorite questions that I always love to ask. Do you have a success story that you'd like to share?
I do. We have a couple, and also just for myself, because before the company started, I was teaching kids with disabilities, and one of them was a phenomenal player. If you were to talk to him, he would have a difficult time, but then if you ask him to play, he would play better than anybody I know. And this is one of the moments I think that really touched me the most, is because we had one concert and that kid just went on the stage. His mom was holding his hand, set him down at the piano, and he played like a prodigy. And to me, that was the biggest success, because if we can teach, if we can provide services to individuals with developmental challenges and really change their lives, because music actually is number one thing that people suggest when you have a kid with autism, you go to music, because the way music affects your brain waves, how it affects your brain frequencies, it helps you with cognitive and social skills. Music is always number one. So I thought if we can do that, we can do it worldwide, and we can be everywhere all at once and serve this family. So to me, this would be the biggest success, just seeing our students perform music. And nothing makes me happier than to see this achievements.
Do you currently have students outside the US?
Outside of US, we mainly just focus on the United States. We're planning to explore and expand. Right now, we've definitely been really busy here in California. And we have so many individuals, like with the regional centers, there's 460,000 individuals. And outside the regional centers, there's so many families that are not even aware of the services. So I think that right now we definitely want to help as many families here before we're branching out. But it's definitely on the table.
Okay, good. Then what do you feel is the most important takeaway you want our listeners to have from our conversation?
I feel the biggest thing, the biggest need is that a lot of families are not aware of the resources that are available to them. And I want to encourage all the listeners, if they have any questions, they could reach out to you, to us, so they know they have accessibility, they have resources that can help their kids. We had one family that we spoke about, and they had kid with autism, and the mom saying, is there anything you guys can do to help us out? Like, said, have you ever heard about the regional center system? And she was like, no. So we connected them with the right people, and then they were able to get funding for services. So I think is the lack of knowledge, because a lot of people are not aware that there's such wonderful resources in California and outside of California, because you do have other states that offer similar programs. So I would say don't hesitate to reach out to us or just explore the internet, because there's wonderful resources out there to help individuals with special needs.
Thank you, Valery. Thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your story with us.
Of course. Thank you again, Gilda, for having me. And I think it's such a wonderful thing that you're doing, especially serving the special needs community. So honored to be here. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak about myself and our company, Our Best Conservatory of Music.
Thank you. Those are very kind words, Valery, and you're welcome back anytime.
I appreciate it.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like more information on this topic or anything else we've covered on the Autism Resource Podcast, visit us online at autismresourceproject.org/podcast. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, contact us through the website or comment on any of our social media channels. And be sure to check out our growing website often, since we are continually adding useful information and resources. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.